Hi, everybody, and welcome to another special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm Dan Ramey, and we have in studio with us the director for Gus Macker here in Chillicothe, benefiting the Southern Ohio Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Brian Grigsby. We'll talk with Brian about where we stand as we are just, as we speak, about 11 days from seeing it all hit the fan. It is brought to you today by McDonald's.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
This time next week, this guy's going to be sweating bullets. It's been an interesting ride for you in this promotion of Gus Macker happening here in Chillicothe this year.
It sure has. I've learned a lot. This is our first time, obviously, leading the charge with Gus Macker. I think I've said in the past I was able to play from the time it was Court Red A to top men's, and that was a fun ride as well. But organizing and putting this on and establishing a team that's needed to do this is a very different perspective than a guy who shows up to register and then play on the weekend. So it has been fun. It's been a lot of fun. It seems like we're almost there, but there is a very large task list of things that still have to get accomplished. And so we're one step at a time.
The good thing is you've got prayer on your side. So
That's true.
You know you have an ability that maybe the normal guys don't have.
Yeah, well, I was actually sharing with somebody this morning. I said, my capacity is very limited. Like, I don't have a ton of capacity. But the Lord seemingly keeps making things happen, and he keeps orchestrating everything at a level that is still surprising me, whether it's people that are volunteering to come alongside of us, playing certain roles as leaders and as volunteers. And yeah, I mean, if this was dependent upon me and my capacity, this would be a flop. So
he specializes in the unnormal.
Yeah.
And having those that you don't think anything of, and then suddenly, boom, there it is.
That's true.
So let's remind you, it's May 31st and June 1st. So we're talking, again, Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, it is. The tournament Saturday, Sunday. The hoops, Lord willing, will show up on Thursday evening. We've got a team of people that will get those unloaded and get them all set up in the parking lot so that Friday, all day on Friday, we will be setting up courts, taping lines, getting everything laid out for the weekend. And then technically players can start registering on Friday night. They can show up to check in on Friday night, which is what we would highly recommend. Makes Saturday less chaotic. And then Saturday morning, 8 a.m. is opening ceremonies, and ball tips on each court at 8:30.
So Thursday, when things start to take fruition, you'll hear a lot of drills. You'll hear a lot of ratchet wrenches going as they're putting these baskets together. It's really magical to watch them put these things together. Yeah. But then it's a matter of placing them and just saying, all right, here we go.
One of the things that, I don't know if I've said this before, but one of the things that's making this possible is the relationship with Gus Macker. If we were to try to put on a 3-on-3 basketball tournament just by ourselves, I don't think it would be nearly a success. But because of the partnership with Gus Macker, because they'll bring a team in of 12 to 14 staff people, they'll start showing up on Thursday as well. They know the ins and outs of how to run Gus Macker, and they've given us all of these tools so that all we have to do is do a lot of the local organizing, providing volunteers, and there's a lot of stuff that we do, but when it comes to the actual basketball tournament, they run it. They worry about who's in what brackets and all of that kind of stuff. We just have to provide them some manpower, and whether they like it or not, we will be offering them prayer as well. So,
and that manpower is right now, you need volunteers.
We do. There's a lot of dynamics with the needs for volunteers. We have been very blessed that we have a lot of people to this point that have signed up to volunteer, but we do still need more volunteers. We have a week and a half left. We would love to volunteers to have that finalized by tomorrow, Wednesday, because we get all of our volunteers a t-shirt, and I would love to make sure I get you the right size. But the biggest need we have right now is scorekeepers for the officials. It takes no skill set. You can be, I would say a kid, but let's say a mature kid that can pay attention, up to somebody that's more mature in their years, and just to be able to sit there with a clipboard and keep score so that the official doesn't have to. Our ultimate goal, again, we've said this in the past, is to do this with excellence. So if we want to do this with excellence, we could get by with an official holding a clipboard, trying to call fouls, trying to monitor the game, as well as keep score and keep fouls. But then that's more on his plate or her plate to do. If we have scorekeepers there, and then in the ideal world, we have two, so that they can keep score, keep track of fouls. If one needs to run and grab a drink, one needs to run and use the restroom, it's no big deal because we have more people there than what would be the bare minimum. So we're trying not to do this as a bare minimum. So we're trying to really secure people who can be scorekeepers at each court. We don't know exactly yet. We'll find out in the next day or two, but we'll have around 20 courts that need scorekeepers. Well, we're going to have a morning shift on Saturday, a morning shift or an afternoon shift on Saturday, and then the same on Sunday. So technically 4 shifts. And if we could just get people to sign up for one of those shifts, that would be a huge blessing. They can come, keep score. They can do it with a friend if they have somebody else they want to do it with, or they can meet a new friend and do it that way. But at this point, we still need over 20 people at each of those shifts for scorekeepers. So there's an abundance of need still.
Aaron, if you could pull up the image that I sent you earlier, not the schedule, but yes, this one there. This is on our website, littermedia.com. When you click on this image, it will take you right to where you can sign up to be a scorekeeper or a volunteer.
Yes.
So we're trying our best to make it as easy as possible for everyone. So feel free to go to the front page there of littermedia.com, and you'll find that image. Click on it. If you have the desire to participate, we certainly appreciate that. Now, the benefactor is the Southern Ohio Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I have to ask, how many kids do you have who are members of the FCA that are either playing or volunteering?
I
haven't looked that far ahead.
That's a great question. I have no idea.
Because I'm sure there was a struggle because, man, I'd like to help, but
boy, I
want to play.
Well, yeah. So so we have we have one local basketball team and basketball coach that is coming to help serve. I don't know their numbers yet because they're coming as volunteers as a team that are teenagers. We're still way too far in advance for them to give us a commitment, apparently. We know they're coming.
That's being a teenager.
Yeah, 100%. So, but they're bringing a team, and it's like, but we would also love them to play. So I do know that coach, which is Coach Taryn at Waverly. So he is bringing some guys, but they're coming up to help with setup. So that way his kids can, if they want to play, they can play. Unfortunately, I don't have access to who's registered yet. I see the total numbers, but I don't actually have a list of who's registered as far as players are concerned. So I don't know up to this point how many high schoolers we have locally or any of that. I hopefully will find that out middle of this week, but that would be a great stat for me to figure out. Now I do have, we have a handful of our FCA students that are non-basketball players, at least, that are coming to help. And whether it be we'll have an FCA tent. So I do have some FCA students that'll be at our FCA tent throughout the weekend. So that way, if somebody has a question about FCA, wants to talk to one of our high school kids from Unyota or Adina or Chillicothe, wherever they happen to be from, you can just ask them about their experience with FCA and what it's been like and what it looks like in their school. And they would happily share that kind of stuff with you. And we'll have some resources there as well. But yeah, so I'm still, again, teenagers, I love them to death, obviously, but getting them to commit to anything 2 weeks into advance, let alone more than that, is a real struggle.
They keep you young here. They age you here.
Yes, they most certainly do.
Again, this will be May 31st. That is a Saturday, and then June 1st on a Sunday, right on the streets of downtown Chillicothe. Most of this will be taking place on Water Street?
Yeah, on Water Street. Yep, we'll go from Christie's Pizza all the way down to Octangie Parkway on Water Street. And then we'll utilize, so the intersection of court and paint, or I'm sorry, water and paint is kind of where the central hub will be. That's where Bracket 10 will be. That's where Top Men's will be. That's where Threads by Gus will be. And then the parking lot, the municipal lot beside Christie's Pizza, will also be kind of a central hub for us. Half of that parking lot will be our food court. So we'll have food trucks in there serving food. And then the other half of that court will be Dream Court. And so the Dream Court it's a whole setup of itself. It's a special court. It's got banners and all the stuff. It has its own sound system. Gus himself announces those games. And so he will be there, and that will kind of be in that kind of that shady tree, should be really picturesque setting for Dream Court. And so I'm looking forward to that as well. And so that kind of be the central hub, kind of the entrance to the park there. So that way it makes it easy for families to go down and enjoy the park. When they're not playing, if they've got 2 or 3 hour break between games, they obviously can head up Paint Street and check out downtown, all the shops on paint and water, and more. So that's kind of one of the things we're excited for, is it will hopefully have several thousand people downtown and on Water Street, and then they can, within walking distance, check out a lot of our beautiful downtown.
We will next week talk more about what's happening on those 2 days. But if we bring the schedule up again, just to let people know, again, baskets will be set up on Thursday, so I imagine you'll probably have some street closure at some point in time.
Yeah, we'll be in the parking lot on Thursday, so only that municipal parking lot will be closed. Streets will start closing Friday morning at 8.
Okay.
So.
And you've got some special events that will take place on Saturday night, and, of course, the award ceremony and everything as well on Sunday. Yeah. So we'll get into the crux of that in our next conversation.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of details that are come together. We've got a lot of special events where, yes, it's going to be a basketball tournament, and yes, the players, we want to create the best experience for the players we can, but also their families and the community as a whole. So we've tried to put together some other things around the weekend that makes it a benefit for the community to come out and just enjoy the weekend as well.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Sounds great.
And if you have missed any of the conversations we've had about Gus Macker, which will answer a lot of your questions, including a vintage moment with Tom White from Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. That was our first discussion about the Gus Macker. He was a part of it way back when and still a part of it today. So if you want to learn more, check those out on our YouTube channel. For Brian Grigsby, I'm Dan Ramey. Thanks for watching this edition of Litter Media Live.